Hey guys, Zero Star here. So, the first day of the playing stage of the 2021 League of Legends Championship has just concluded, and we got many surprises, many picks that we expected to see, many teams that we hadn't seen in a lot of time. So, let's get straight into it. This is gonna be a review or like a recap from this day. So, first game Hanwha Life versus LNG. So this was the most anticipated match, at least for me. And right in the beginning, we saw Hanwha Life securing really powerful picks like Aurelia and Tryndamere. But also the answer from LNG, Icons Gragas as a pillar and Ails Jax as a bruiser carry was the definitive factor that gave LNG the win. I have to say, I don't like that much the Gragas pick as an AP carry because he was building full AP magic damage, because he didn't seem to have an impact regarding the magic damage on the 5v5, but he was really useful in terms of utility. That E and the ultimate gave plenty of space for LNG to even contest some of the fights they were heading into. Also Tarzan with the Qiyana. Qiyana's ultimate supreme display of talent, the range. He hit 2 or 3 ultimates that were like unreal. But yeah, since then I saw Qiyana was a priority pick in this patch. Next, Chovy's build was kinda questionable, especially the grasp of the Undying Rune. I would have wanted to see a more aggressive build, but regardless of that, we could see the first Tryndamere pick of the professional play in a while. LNG, yes, got picked a few times by the Korean squad, and Chovy showed what a Tryndamere is capable of doing. But as soon as LNG started grouping, he got countered hardly, and with the help of my MVP of the match, L, they swept them from the Rift in an intense game 1 of the day. Next is Infinity versus Red Canids. I gotta say I really liked the draft from Infinity. Cody gets target banned, but his Sylas somehow gets through, and it ends up unanswered, because Grefton set was useful only for the first 2 or 3 levels, and after that, Cody factor was the rule. First objectives were lost by Red Canids due to J4 and Lilia matchup, which was unfortunate for my prediction because I predicted Red Canids would get first Drake. But nonetheless, Infinity did secure first blood, so that's 1-1. Bugox seemed out of place, misplaying TP plays and wave management, so kinda bad for him. And at the early stages, Infinity showcased a superior macro game, but started running down and getting picked after the third Drake, and they threw away all the advantage they managed to achieve in early game, hence losing the game. So really disappointing performance for Infinity, but congratulations to Red Canids. Next game is LNG versus Peace. Draft-wise, I think Peace got a huge draft advantage against LNG. They secured power picks like Misfortune and Amumu. They also got Zed in the jungle and Gangplank in the top lane. And they were really committing to the all-in potential with the Galio. But I'm not a fan of this pick versus LeBlanc. I mean, it's okay, but it's not optimal. Also, Tarzan secured Snowball for Fiora by punishing Visichachi early in the game, who had a really disappointing performance. He seemed out of place in this match. It was really evident that he hadn't played in the pro scene for about 2 years, and throughout the mid-game, the individual and macro gap was noticeable, which gave Peace no chance to turn the game over, even though they had a better draft. Regarding Peace as a team, I no longer think they will achieve much on this playing stage. Not because of the fact that they got stomped by a major region like China, but because they couldn't achieve much towards their win conditions and individual performance. Anyway, they did manage to get a sick combo near the conclusion of the game near their base, but that wasn't enough, so at least they will have a positive highlight from this match. Next game is Hanwha versus Infinity. I think Infinity got away with the better draft just because Hanwha seemed really bad with some of their picks like Azir and Renekton, which are not that meta favored. We got to see Cody Zoe, which is great. Even though his struggle against Chovy, it was okay in the pickup department and got some good chunks of damage here and there. I see Bugox early game continuing to be disappointing. The Graves pick is a good pick, but the itemization was poor. He barely dealt damage and lots of potential was lost there. The elephant in the room is Hanwha Life's performance. For the Korean standards, they played poorly and again their draft was terrible in my opinion. They managed to get through this game because of Infinity's mistakes, but they seem lost heading to the closing of the match. They really need to sharpen up this because they might get punished for sending this bad. Next is Unicorns of Love versus Detonation. This is one of the matches I was more confident in with my prediction, but it did went a little bit out of control, but for both teams. On one hand, I didn't like the Gnar pick against Jace, especially because of the fact that it was played as an engager tank, and there was another great pick against their comp, which was Malphite. Plus, being Jace a direct counter for Gnar, I say it is a no-brainer. This matchup was UOL's opportunity to get a significant advantage over DFM, but they threw it away by taking down the first two top lane towers. So they gave Gnar the chance to freeze, who didn't freeze at first, which is a mistake, but they really showcased the lack of understanding of the game they have. Throughout the mid game, they had an okay advantage that they threw by overextending and giving Talon and Ilvan kills for them to carry out the game. More than a DFM convincing win, I think this was just Unicorns throwing the game away. I gotta say I really expected more from the Japanese squad and hope they make up for these mistakes, which they didn't next game Cloud9. We'll go there in a second. Next game is Galatasaray versus Beyond Gaming. This game we had a huge draft gap by Galatasaray. Beyond really disrespected the power pick potential of some picks and ended up with a really difficult to execute composition against a team that could either force whatever they want onto them or just stall and wait for Ryze to scale. So GS threatened top lane successfully on early game and got a huge advantage for Crazy on Kennen, whereas Beyond could get some fights due to GS overextended, but Qiyana and Kennen duo was unstoppable. I see it as a really powerful duo. Mojito's vision, control, and position was almost flawless, and it was a key to Galatasaray's success. On the bad side, this was a chaotic game, but not in a fun way. Both teams made a lot of mistakes, giving the lead one to each other many times. Hence, the team with the best composition was favored to win. In this case, it was Galatasaray, but for me, it was not a convincing win for Galatasaray. It was just BYG throwing the draft and making some really horrible mistakes macro-wise. I really expected more from the second PCS seed. So, next game, DFM versus Cloud9. Many people were fearing Cloud9 will be upset by DFM, but that didn't happen. We saw a dominant Cloud9 and a DFM who did not fix their pick and ban mistakes, especially the Gnar pick. This time, they didn't pick it against a counter of him, which is better, but they blinded it with many of his counters up, which led to an Irelia pick for Fudge that completely stumped Gnar, which led to DFM investing a lot of resources on trying to stop him. But that wasn't a win. Plus, their flashy Night LeBlanc got 0 kills on early game, and while she got decent CS lead over Perk Sylas, she found herself in disadvantage versus him because of the kill participation Sylas got in skirmishes, so C9 was skirmishing better than DFM. The bot lane matchup was kinda bad for Detonation, well, really bad for Detonation, and meant close to non-presence on the game. Jhin was really useless. I mean, he ulted just to CS, which is mediocre. Cloud9 had a superior composition and superior map control, and that won them many skirmishes that gave them the win. Detonation really needs to stop messing up their drafts and having a better understanding of the metagame in order to develop themselves as a threat for other teams. But for now, I don't really see them as a threat for the other teams on their group. Last game, Unicorns versus Galatasaray. The last game showed a questionable Trundle pick from UOL that didn't create that much opportunities for his team. And overall, the Unicorns were shadowed by GS's superior macro game understanding and tempo control. Plus, the fact that the Turkish squad had a better composition, really more convincing and easier to apply and to execute. So, being this a skirmish and teamfight heavy game or match, GS won most of the fights whenever they didn't overextend. So a really convincing win from GS. And again, UOL, really disappointing performance. I sustain the fact that they won't win a game. And that's it for the match review of this first day. And now heading towards the power rankings of the day. 10th place, Unicorns, by far the worst team, the worst drafts, worst meta understanding, worst macro game. 9, Peace, they are lacking some synergy, and I don't see Visichachi competing against other top laners. If we cannot win against Fiora with a Gangplank and lose that bad, I don't really see them as a threat to Hanwha Life anymore. 8th, Infinity. Yes, I think their drafts were okay, but they threw away some advantages. They got really desperate for doing something and lost track of the game many times. So yeah, for me that's an 8th position. Beyond Gaming, their drafts were worst, but I think overall they are a better team than Infinity, and they showed a little bit of better performance, but not really disappointing for a PCS team. 6th, Detonation Focus Me. Draft wise, I'm not liking that much. I'm not feeling it, but I think they got potential. They can make up for their mistakes, but for today, they really seen a lot. So it's a 6th place for me. The 5th, Red Canids. They showed an okay early game. I mean, they had a Lilia. They did what they could, and they turned a game over. That's nice. Once they got a lead, they exploited it and never let them Infinity get the lead again. So that was really convincing win from them as a turnover. 4th, Hanwha Life. I do think they can be better, and they were really poor today, but I mean, they were okay. I think they were the best of the rest, the best of the pack. 3rd, Galatasaray. The Turkish team really surprised me, and I think many more. Their performance was okay. Their draft was kind of better, but they got potential, and I think they will make it out of playing. 2nd, Cloud9. They had a really good performance against Detonation. Some questionable things in draft based on the pick order, but most of all was pretty much flawless or near to flawless. And the first place, of course, LNG, the Chinese team, that really, I mean, after the first match, kind of like the nerves went away and they finally got in track, and they gave us really convincing wins, really good macro play, and really like a synergy or a unity as a team. So I really liked it. And regarding my predictions from yesterday for day 1, we went 9-3. Infinity did not win. I mean, yeah, sad for me being a Latin American resident. Red Canids didn't score first Drake, and Beyond didn't win. Yeah, such a disappointment. But it was a pretty good day for predictions. We went positive, 75%. And yep, that will be it. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see how it goes for tomorrow. I'll upload the video in a few hours. So, yep. Thank you very much. Hit like if you like it. You can also flame me or whatever in the comment section. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.